Uh, 62. Music is. Welcome to the We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast, making the world a better place one film at a time. Now, here are your hosts, three aspiring sellouts, Chad, Michelle, and Sam. Hello, and welcome to the Movies Film Geeks podcast. Podcast all about how to get movies made, how to get it seen by other people, and how to get it awesome. I am your host, as usual, Chad Pico, although I'm back because I was not here last week. With me, as mostly always, is Michelle Lookadoo.
Hi,
and now we have, for the second week in a row, the special guest host, Sam Messman, CEO of We Make Movies.
Hey, guys.
So how'd that go? I didn't totally screw that up, right?
I heard a little feedback in the beginning, but, you know.
It's just clipped. It was clipped. That's crappy audio. So anyway, we're here. First thing we're going to do, once I adjust my camera here, is dig into the community news. So, and by the way, if either of you would rather kind of jump on any of these three topics, feel free to do so. First off, as always, we would definitely appreciate some love on iTunes and on YouTube. Just if you watch this show and you have any opinion about it, please leave a comment, ask a question. Definitely rate us, give us some kind of review. That really helps other people who are looking for this type of podcast to find us, and it honestly helps keep us on the air. So rate, review, etc., etc. Thanks so much. This week, at the Theater Asylum in Hollywood is our regular writers' workshop. If you've never been, you really should come and see why we are trending most every Wednesday night, at least locally. And if you have been, then you know why it is so much fun, and I'm sure we'll see you there. So we hope to see you all there this Wednesday night. Don't forget to come hang out at the 3 clubs afterwards. That's where a lot of the magic actually happens. A lot of the deals are closed there. Now tomorrow starts the third full week of our daily content on the website. About 2 weeks ago, we've had 2 full weeks of articles posting every single day on the website. Different theme every single day. The first Monday, again, of just the regular week, we have New Media Mondays by Valentina V. On Tuesdays, we have Tuesday Tech and Trade Talk by yours truly and Eric Altman. Whiny Wednesdays on Wednesdays with Sam Messman. Thursdays has Pretentious Criterion Reviews by Eric Michael Kochmer. And then Fridays is Fuck It Fridays with our very own Michelle Lookadoo, covering topics primarily related to acting. Is that correct?
Yes.
Excellent.
Acting and bitching about everyone else that does it. Wonderful.
About everyone else who acts?
Yes.
Excellent. Awesome. So check it out. Fuck It Fridays. And every other week. And again, tweet them, like them, comment them, share them. We'd really appreciate it.
Speaking of Fuck It Fridays, I mean, like, I just want to let you know, like, we aim to please here at Film Geeks. And I have had some requests to do a pantsless podcast. So we all are, in fact, completely pantsless. And I did heat up a sausage that I will be eating during the podcast. Thank you for your requests. We take them.
Awesome. I'm wearing shorts, though. It's not entirely pantsless. They are short pants. But definitely don't forget that we can see your comments. Comment on the YouTube channel. If you are watching this live, comment. We will respond. We will show your comment on screen. So there you have
sausage.
Is there anything else community news related that either of you would like to discuss before we get into the regular news items?
In fact, we do have a screening series that is starting this Sunday, September 21st, at 3 clubs. We are screening a We Make Movies feature and 2 other shorts by some brilliant filmmakers that I happen to know. But we're also pairing the films with some pretty freaking awesome local music artists. So we're going to show the films, and then we're going to have live performances from the artists, and it's just amazing. It's going to be amazeballs, and it's like a $5 suggested donation at the door just to like pay the door guys and like the sound guys, but it's just going to be a fun time and a fun place to go and shoot the shit and see some cool stuff and to collaborate with other filmmakers and meet some musicians. So 7 p.m. this Sunday, the 21st, at 3 clubs in the back room.
And what's the what's the general timing of the night? Is it like the short from X time to, you know what I'm saying?
I think we're doing the screenings first, and then we're doing the music. So
Okay.
screening first, and then music. It starts at 7, and yeah. And the theme is horror, so it's in preparation for Halloween. So there's going to be like some creepy stuff going on.
The sausage is hilarious.
My dog's flipping out. My dog's flipping out. Look at him.
He wants the sausage. I bet. If you're only listening to this, you can't see the sausage, so that's unfortunate. So let's get into the regular design. I actually want to quickly recap my last blog post because I think it's really quite cool actually, and considering how new our daily blog posts are, I'm not sure how many people have actually seen it on the website. So anyway, it's about getting HBO a la carte, and and in fact, actually, Huffington Post, by the way, posted an article like 2 days after mine, so I was on to something. Anyway, if you've watched this podcast in the past or listened to it, whatever, you've heard me talk about how I've been saying that the day HBO Go becomes available a la carte is the day that we will have hit that cord-cutting tipping point. But this is the funny thing. Cable service providers have found kind of a loophole in my theory, a loophole so big, in fact, that I myself have jumped into it. This is how it went down. Late last year, certain cable providers started making deals with high-speed internet customers where they could add sort of really ultra cheap cable packages onto their internet, which include HBO, and which obviously will give them HBO Go, and is the only way that you, at least as of right now, that you can get HBO Go. I was surprised I didn't hear much about that, except last weekend. The reason I wasn't on the show at all, I was in a wedding in Michigan. I met a guy who was from New York City, and he was telling me that he knew people who had done this thing that I'd never heard of at that point. So as soon as I got back to LA, looked it up. I called up my internet company, Time Warner, and the first time through on the phone call, we talked about it, and I didn't come up with anything, so I just basically hung up. But the second time I called back, the guy I was with told me about this deal where I was able to get for only $17 more a month than what I'm already paying for my broadband. I could get cable basically, and I told them point blank, I'm like, I have no TV, and they're like, it doesn't really matter. And I was like, okay. So they brought over this. I went for it, and they brought over this box, which is, by the way, still in the fucking bubble wrap, sitting in a closet next to a bunch of ancient VHS tapes. And now I have HBO Go, basically a la carte for $17 a month. And
let me just talk to you about how much I hate Time Warner Cable.
Uh-oh.
I've had a very difficult month, 6 weeks with them.
Oh, goodness.
I don't have a good story outside of the fact that wow, there's a lot of echo in this room.
Yeah.
I don't really have a good story outside of the fact that they have canceled multiple appointments with me. I don't have the reason I'm actually taping this in this room right now is because my internet is so spotty for the high-end internet that I'm supposed to be receiving. This has been going on for weeks. Anyway, this is all a short way of saying that I hate them and I hope they go out of business.
You're still with them, though, yeah?
Yeah, no, I'm still with them. And when I move next week, I will be actually upgrading my service.
That's hilarious.
So there's a little bit of hypocrisy here. I have not figured out a way to remove them from my life, but as soon as I get the opportunity, I look forward to doing so.
Yeah, that's how I honestly, I totally hear you, and I've heard awful things about Comcast. That is totally how I feel about AT&T. I will never knowingly give AT&T a dime of my money. But I mean, there's really not many options. I mean, if you have to have cable, which thankfully I don't, it's just decent internet, and the prices are pretty comparable for especially where I'm at. I don't have a ton of options where I'm at either. But $17 a month, just adding that on and getting HBO Go a la carte is kind of, I mean, it's hilarious. I have a whole, I've got the cable box that's supposed to be on a TV and the remote control and a bunch of cables in a big bag in my closet, and I had to take that. Like, they had to give that to me. on top of the $17 a month, just so I can get. I mean, it's really ridiculous. But the article on on Huffington Post, by the way, it was talking about how they are considering just giving you the HBO Go without all the ridiculousness of bringing over a stupid box. You know, they are considering that.
Why? Does that all seem somewhat unnecessary?
You mean bringing the box over?
Yeah, here's the box that you don't use.
It's their loss, not mine. You know, it's just such a waste. You know. Anyway.
You don't need this. We just need to tell our boss that we gave it to you.
But they own HBO. Time Warner owns HBO.
I know, it's
Not the other
fucking
way around.
retarded. I'm sorry. Is this a kid show? I don't know.
No.
Not at all.
No.
But I just looked up the price of season 3 of Game of Thrones, which I plan to purchase, which is $38.99. So, in fact, it would actually be cheaper for me to go get some HBO Go.
Plus, you
rather
have
than
all
like,
these other.
although I wouldn't be able to like watch it over and over and watch like
No, you
Daenerys
can.
Targaryen get to. Oh, I guess you could.
You
Chad
get
has.
everything on HBO. Have you ever done HBO Go? It's the most amazing
I
thing
have
ever.
not.
It is
fact.
awesome. You have.
I've rewatched
all
The
of those
Wire
shows.
5 times.
Wow.
Every episode. There's something wrong with me, but
Sam, that's something we keep to ourselves. That's something we keep to ourselves.
It is. It's.
That's-
I don't.
Mhm.
I wish I had the time. I love that show. But you can watch. No, it's in my opinion, it's totally worth it. I pay for Netflix and I pay for HBO Go, and Kendall pays for Hulu. And between we have plenty of shows to watch at any
yeah.
given.
But do you have Pawn Stars?
I don't even know what that is, but
It's a reality show that's on every channel on your cable box,
Yes.
all hours of the day. Do you like Pawn reality shows? Because that's the reason to get cable, or something involving Storage Wars, or a reality show in that area.
My VHS tape drawer is extremely entertained right now.
I mean, there's a lot of things that you're missing on. You're missing lots of ads.
Yeah.
You're missing lost hours of your life that you'll never get back.
Yeah, I'm bummed about that. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. I believe that is you, Sam.
Oh, so I got some big news for you. Apple released a watch this week. I'm breaking this story. It happened, so I don't know if anyone caught it.
You are a bleeding edge, man. It's a bleeding edge.
I know. I know people. So the question is, and it's more of a question, is like, what do you guys see the application of this for filmmaking, and is there a reason for you to buy one?
I'm sorry. I already have a Pebble, so I think I'm good.
What is that?
I got a Pebble when that on Kickstarter. It's like it's a watch that hooks up. I'm not an Apple guy. I mean my computers. All my computers are Apple. I don't have a PC computer, but all my devices are Android. And I know that sounds bizarre to some people, but that's how I roll. So I don't know. I want to show you guys a very funny image. However, Ricky Gervais apparently saved himself a lot of money this last week. Let me see if I can crack this open for you. I don't know if it'll let me. Oh, okay, here it is. So this is Ricky Gervais. This is how Ricky Gervais saved himself a lot of money.
Ah.
He put that out. I think that was like Facebook or something. So,
No, I mean, I watched the video and it made me want one, but I stopped watching it and I didn't know why I wanted one. And that
Well, yeah.
they are amazing salespeople, and they make really fun devices 2 years after somebody else.
Do you realize here's the thing about Apple. This is how this is so genius. They had a problem with their live stream. People freaked out. Like they like the live stream of that keynote, people went crazy. It was a serious problem, and it occurred to me that they're the only company in the world that
Anybody
can
gives a
get
shit about their
people
keynote.
that can get people upset when they can't watch their live advertising.
That's true. That's a really
that is
that's a really
true.
good point. Yeah, no,
I mean-
they're. Sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
Well, no, I was just going to say, like, I'm not excited. I'm not that excited about the watch, I will say. But I am waiting for the chip. I want the chip.
You like
I want
just
that. I want
stick in
that.
your
I
neck
want
or
the
something?
chip that they like embed in your wrist, and you'd be like, "Oh, yes, please. I would like some more iTunes." and then it like scans your like barcode like in your or like the Apple tattoo. It's like the mark of the beast, man. Like I read all this, like when I was a kid, I read all this like post-apocalyptic like young adult literature, and like it's the mark of the beast is the apple with the bite out of it. How Adam and Eve is that and shit, right? I mean, full circle, people.
Should have started today's show at 4:20.
Oh boy, this is we're. I think there's a new Mayan apocalypse coming as well.
Absolutely.
There's another one like they got the date wrong. It turned out.
Yeah.
When it happened the first time, they misread the tea leaves.
And if I may just say, like, the way it looks, this whole Apple Watch situation, it's not that cute. So I'm going to wait until they come out with, like, a gold-plated one or, like, something that's kind of, like, maybe designed by, like, someone cool. Just saying.
Wearables, I'm sure it's going to get there, but I just don't think anybody has quite figured it out yet. I mean, voice recognition is coming along, but I did see something that looked really cool. It was obviously somebody's artistic vision of something, and it was just like somebody's wrist, just the wrist, the actual wrist, and you could see it was like projected on there, but it was like under the skin. It was really crazy looking, like you were saying, like kind of like the tattoo, but it looked like some kind of interface. You know, it was really cool looking.
Yeah, that chip thing is scary. I don't know.
Okay, maybe not yet. Well, on a whole other like topic, I did an interview this week. I did a few actually on a podcast called A Kind Voice, and it's actually a really cool show. And I was on like the section that's called A Kind Voice in Film. And like the whole A Kind Voice is like a great little outfit. It's like the guys of The Kind Voice, they share stories of people, and let me quote them, that make our world a kinder, more connected place, one act at a time. So basically they hope their stories will inspire more stories, and people just get on there and they tell stories. And I know, okay, it sounds a little cheesy, but it's kind of awesome.
Not
and it's
cheesy per se.
It's just they're folks that are like chatting about sports and books and music and film and you name it. And like I feel like this is very along the lines of We Make Movies, because they have great guests and the only requirement is don't be an asshole. So it's great. Anyway, so they focus on the positive aspects of all the subjects. And anyway, I love being on the show. And if you want to see some more WMMers, they're actually maybe going to be on the show in the next few weeks. So
nice.
Who's
going to be on it?
I'm sorry?
How We Make Movies, you mean?
WMMers. They're going to have, I think they're
on
chatting.
A Kind Voice.
On A Kind Voice. I think they're chatting with Brian Gaskell right now. He has a film that's being released.
That's right.
And they're chatting with Sapna Gandhi. I think she's going to go chat about broad strokes and how they made all 40 of those crazy micro shorts. So yeah, that's the skinny.
That's
Very
right.
cool.
Brian Gaskell's film is coming out this Wednesday, huh?
It is.
Excellent. Yeah, we should promote that. So yeah.
Well, we are. Watch Brian Gaskell's film.
Awesome.
It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
24th of September.
That's awesome. So it sounds cool. It's hard for me not to try to mock anybody.
Oh, don't be a dick, Chad Kukahiko.
You can't be on A Kind Voice then, Chad.
No, I
Yeah,
won't.
no.
I won't be able to be on it. But but my hometown, the Big Island of Hawaii and I'm fairly certain there are statistics to back this up, but I think it is the home of the most communes of any other location in the world, I would guess. There are so many freaking communes. There's an unbelievable. It's like I think a lot of the hippies who go
Is
to
it like Animal Farm? Is it like kind of a George Orwell nightmare scenario?
No.
I was just wondering how many of them are like nudists. I mean, like if you're going to be a nudist.
It's funny you say that. Funny you ask, because my sister bought her house from a nudist couple. And the lady apparently it was just too far from the rest of her family, so she ended up going back to Minneapolis or whatever, and her husband eventually followed and sold my sister their house. So it's funny, yeah. There's lots of it anyway. So that's just anyway. I'll just jump into my because I can't think of anything really coherent to say anyway. If you follow politics, or rather, if you don't follow politics, you probably have not heard about it. But Scotland is voting on Thursday to see whether or not they want to cede from the UK. Now, If the referendum goes that way, they may be a fully independent country as soon as March, and that may or may not matter for us so much here in the United States, but it might matter for filmmakers.
Is it like Braveheart a little bit kind of going on out there?
I think it's a lot more tame. It's like Braveheart in suits. I think
Wow.
without any dying. It's a
no
much more
beheadings,
boring-
just contracts.
Just yeah,
Wow.
I think so.
I'm
Anyway,
not watching that movie.
I don't know. I don't.
No best
honestly,
picture there.
Wow.
I admit I don't know a ton about it, but I did read an article. There is one expert in Scotland who says that an independent Scotland could become an independent film powerhouse. Professor and lecturer of theater, film, and TV at the University of Glasgow, a man named David Archibald, and he posted an article last week detailing at least the reasons that an independent Scotland would want to focus more on film production. But the main current roadblock, according to Archibald, is basically their dependence on the union. So if he's correct, then obviously their independence from a greater UK would obviously be a boon to the independent film industry out there, but only if the locals decide to prioritize that. And that seemed to be kind of the main option. That was sort of the main thrust of his article overall. And he skimmed over some of the benefits that it would bring and about how inexpensive it would be to make Scotland really sort of basically create the infrastructure that would make it a real independent film powerhouse and bring a lot of money their way. But he didn't necessarily go over, which I was kind of hoping he would, what that might mean, what it might make better for filmmakers who are from other places, obviously like us, who, if we came to Scotland to film, what would be the draw besides the obvious, which is some of the really cool scenery and whatnot. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to seed, and if they do, I don't know if they're going to do what this guy Archibald is saying. But if they do, and I hear about it, I will definitely fill you in and see what that means for us. So stay tuned, maybe.
I think a lot of it has to do with like what their currency is going to be, and how that's going to like shuffle out in the world. I mean, well, because the pound sterling would be Scotland's currency until I think 2016, and then after that, it's like a fucking free for all. So because they don't have a central bank, so they're not in a position to print money. So if Scotland joins the European Union,
as a separate, because that's kind of what
as a separate country. Right. They could introduce the euro. That could be that, right. And that would kind of be a bargaining chip, like kind of like, hey guys, we're gonna have the euro. But creating another currency is a whole other option. Like they can create their own currency.
Interesting.
So, I mean, I think that's gonna have a lot to do with it, which is completely up in the air. And there's all kinds of speculations. But the great thing is, if you're an accountant in Scotland, you are set for the next 10 years. Like you got some business to do.
Now that's only if they do go independent, right? It's not necessarily true if they do not.
Well, I mean, they're going to have to switch it up anyway because, like, the pound, like, it's only going to be their currency until March 2016.
Well, what's
London has like dismissed a currency union, so they can't use the pound after March 2016.
And they're going to euro, so the UK.
Well, they may go to euro. If they go to the euro, like if they join the European Union. Then yeah, they can go to the euro. That'd be great. It might be a condition for membership. Like they might say they have to adopt the euro if they join the European Union. But I mean,
but the rest of the UK is still going to continue to use the. See that's what I don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the rest of the UK is rocking the pound. They're still rocking the pound.
They're going to continue rocking the pound.
So I think, like, as far as filmmakers are concerned, as far as like the film industry is concerned in Scotland, I think it's all about the money, as it always is in anything ever. So
got it. Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
Interesting. Twirling my mustache. Sounds like it could be a good time for you to talk about Facebook.
Oh, should I have some more breaking news for you guys. This has also not been reported anywhere. But Facebook sucks, and I'll tell you why. So, one thing you may have noticed if you are a business, for instance, is that if you want to get your posts read by even the people who want to see your posts, you have to pay Facebook money.
Monopoly money?
Well, we're getting there with some of this, Apple Pay and all this stuff. It's just it doesn't matter until you're in debt, and then you go to debtor's prison and it's fine. But basically, Facebook is essentially making it borderline impossible for you to get impressions unless you pay them money. So the real question is whether the rest of the world is going to be cool with that, or whether people will move on to another platform. Like what's the next Facebook? Is it FaceSpace or like Google something or another? I mean, the real question is like, is
Google
this?
Google
I guess my
Mug.
question is it sustainable for Facebook to work this way?
That's a good question. I mean, the thing is they
Absolutely not.
have, well, they own the market share right now. I mean, they have such a big market share for when it comes to basically what they do that it's, even if people start to drift off from them, I don't know. I don't see
I guess
it happening.
the question is, do they provide enough value with their advertising mechanism, or are those posts worth enough for people to actually pay for them?
Well, I mean, the question is like how many people are using Facebook for getting or really care if their posts get out.
Well, it's.
I don't know. There's a lot of food porn that's going unseen.
At the end of the day, it comes down to like anything with marketing. It depends on how smart your marketing is. So, have they integrated enough with Facebook? Is it something? At the end of the day, just like anything else, it comes down to your return on your investment. You know what I mean? If the money you're putting in is making more money for you to a degree that it pays for it plus plenty more, then it is worthwhile.
We did an experiment.
Yes,
it did not pay for itself.
Yeah, no, Aubrey did one. I did one before that too, actually, and it just it was not very good. But that's not to say that other businesses, if they do it intelligently and if they come up with creative. I mean, I don't recall of any that being the case here at the Duty either. I mean,
now the one thing I will say, it is this is by far still more efficient than traditional network ads, which are the most popular form of advertising in the world. So go figure.
They're super expensive too. Mm-hmm. They're extremely.
And nobody watches them.
Ironic.
Yeah. Yeah. But
whatever.
I guess we'll see.
So I have things to talk about today. I have a new. I would like to instigate in my news items a top 5 of the week. So I have a top 5 Instagram cinematographers to follow. So I saw an article about like cinematographers, like well-known cinematographers on Instagram. So here's your top 5 for the week. Number 1, Matthew Libatique. He was a cinematographer for Black Swan. It was like awesome and creepy and weird, and it's all shadowy and amazing. Number 2, Emmanuel Lubezki. He was a cinematographer of Gravity. Interesting, very kind of personable, awesome. That was my husband walking by, BT Dubs. Number 3, Rodrigo Prieto, Wolf of Wall Street. Check him out. Amazing. Number 4.
Before you say the last one, let me do something.
Okay.
You'll see. Not number 4. I mean number 5. Go ahead, number 4.
Okay, number 4, Ben Richardson, The Fault in Our Stars. He's actually a little fabulously twisty, which is very exciting. And all of these guys have like an amazing eye for stuff. And number 5, Chad, would you like to take it away? Jody Lee Lipes. I don't know who she is, but she has some cool shit on Instagram. Martha Marcy May Marlene.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Martha Marcy May Marlene. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I heard a lot about it.
People talk about it, whatever. I haven't seen actually much of her work, but her Instagram is cool as shit. So anyway.
That's a good look for you, man, just FYI. Just want you to know, I think that's a really good look for you. He right now, using Google Effects, has put a clown head, a monocle, a full beard on his face.
Like we do. Like we do on a Sunday afternoon.
All right. right. So excellent. I'm gonna check that out, and we're gonna. I'm gonna. I love Instagram. And the funny thing is like I think that a lot of the youngins have been going away from Facebook towards Instagram, towards Snapchat, towards these alternatives to Facebook
In
because all their
fact,
parents are on Facebook.
well, the
But
last I checked, like the mean age of the average Facebook user is over 40, and then I think
huh,
the mean was for Instagram is 26.
wow,
So
yeah, I will check those out. Those sound really cool, and I'm cinematographers. I'm sure would be. Are they doing videos as well as just stills? Happy birthday, Sam. If you're we don't have any live viewers at the moment, which is unfortunate, but maybe someone will watch it on YouTube. But if you're listening to this and you're not watching it, it's a shame because you're missing a whole lot of very fun Google effects action happening. So
yeah,
thanks for that, Michelle.
Well, did you guys see there's a little randomize button down here for it?
I do see that.
Yeah,
I do see that.
it's like a little slot machine, and then like you win, and it's got 3 new things on your face.
You guys forgot to remind me to turn on my lower third.
You didn't turn on your lower third, Michelle?
You didn't.
I already did. I did now.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm jumping into our main items, if that's okay with you guys, our main topics.
Absolutely.
Something that I've been, and this is actually kind of, I mean, even though it's going to be very general, in a big sense, despite its generality, is actually kind of a big thing. What I'm about to start talking about. Something that I've been following for months and months, as you may have seen if you watched or listened to the last Film Geeks that I was on from 2 weeks ago, or if you saw my very first Tech and Trade Talk post a couple of weeks ago, is collaborative consumption. And for those who don't know what collaborative consumption is, briefly, it is sharing, bartering, lending, trading, renting, gifting, and swapping goods instead of buying them. Now, that's according to Greenapedia.com, by the way. Companies using collaborative consumption business models such as Uber, Lyft, Zipcar, Airbnb, Kickstarter even, Indiegogo, Wikipedia, etc. These types of businesses are popping up all over the world, seemingly in every single sector of business nowadays. And so, though I can't tell you, like I was saying a moment ago, anything specific, and it's not even that we're trying to keep it super secret or anything. It's just because we actually haven't had time to lock in any solid specifics yet. But anyway, what I can't, so I can't tell you the specifics, but what I can tell you is that We Make Movies is considering some very fundamental shifts in the way we do what we do, which could make us the very first independent content studio with a collaborative consumption business model. And I'm sorry to drop it as such kind of a massive mystery sandwich on you, but shifts like this.
That's what he said.
Shifts like this need time to settle in, so I want to make sure that people know about it as soon as possible, even before there are specifics. But also, we would love to hear your ideas. I mean, I personally would love to, and I'm sure the rest of the board would. So, how exactly would you see such a studio working, and how much would it be worth to you? Our base is obviously local, and we are not interested in fixing something that isn't broken, but we see all these companies in other sectors that are providing unbelievable products, or at least really excellent products for a very fair price for their customers through honestly just little more than simple, intelligent means of connecting complementary needs. Someone needs a car in a moment, and somebody has a car and needs a little dough here and there, and so boom, Uber, Lyft, they happen, and they do it all online, etc. Anyway, stuff like that, just simple things that that's the kind of stuff that we're interested in doing for you guys, and to do it local and non-local. So anyway, that's the super general sense of what we're looking to do. Please, if you have any ideas, just email me at chad@wemakemovies.org. Or you could post right here on this YouTube channel down in the comment section. You could tweet us with the hashtag #HowWeMakeMovies, or go ahead and just mention me at @CKukahiko. Whatever you want, just contact us. We'd love to get your thoughts. And we can't wait to launch something. We're probably going to launch it in the new year. It's very exciting. But there it is. There you have it. The future is coming to a film collective near you, so stay tuned.
We're gonna do
I
it.
love it.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
gonna
I don't
happen.
know if you guys want to talk further about that or just jump into the
Oh,
next
whatever.
thing.
Let's just do it. Come on.
Let's
Yeah.
jump.
All right. I don't know. What do
Oh,
you
are
want
we
to say?
jumping? Oh, what do I want to say? I mean, basically, the idea behind all of it is, sustainability. And I feel like this should be my Facebook picture.
I've got a
Um,
third eye. That's the ocean.
uh,
Amazing.
I mean, really, but the goal, I mean, at the end of the day, like all kidding aside, is that, you know, anything that you do, if you want it to be successful, it needs to be sustainable. And like,
Yeah.
you should probably, I mean, we've been experimenting and trying new things. We do 9 million different things all of the time. And like, a lot of that has been to kind of see what works and see what doesn't. But at the end of the day, I think what's going to work for us long term is a system where we are doing the things that our community wants us to do, and our community supporting us in a way that
I cannot take you
we could do it.
seriously with
Why?
the freaking
Why,
pirate
Chad?
hat and the dog face and the mountain and the birthday cake. If you are just listening to this, you can't see the ridiculousness that is going on right now with the Google effects. But
I
go
kinda-
on.
It's
Continue.
wonderful.
I feel like it's the only way that I can say serious things is like this.
Okay.
No, but seriously, it's the sort of thing that like, if we ever want to grow in a way where we can grow, and actually deliver things and deliver a mechanism that I think can change the way people make and create films, it has to be in a way where people can support themselves from it and there is an economy behind it. Otherwise, it's just never going to work. So creating a system where, I mean, it's really not that far off of what Netflix or Hulu or HBO does. It's just on a much different scale, and there's a live aspect to it that I think is far more interesting, and I think longer term far more useful than what a lot of these other services offer.
Well, I think any company, in order to be sustainable, needs to be progressive. Chad is upset with my Google effect.
I just don't like. We have a viewer at the moment, a live viewer. By the
They
way,
should enjoy our Google
feel
effect.
free to comment, and if we will say it. But
I think any company that is going to be sustainable needs to be progressive. I think we need to keep a finger on the pulse of what's going on in the industry and adjust your business model accordingly. When you look at Starbucks, Starbucks has been successful throughout the past, 10, 15 years and increasingly successful because they continue to change. And I think that's the way. I think that's where We Make Movies is going.
I heard something crazy about Starbucks. Did you know that in the original business plan for Starbucks, I have to say this or I will never say it. Did you know that in the original business plan for Starbucks, coffee was never mentioned?
Oh, I do. In fact, it was largely a place to be, right? It was about creating a place, creating a space. And then they found something to sell, something to market that helps create space and a feeling of being at home.
It's amazing when you think about it.
Yeah. I actually listened to something. I'm not looking at my screen, by the way. I put a window over both of your faces just so I don't have to look at your ridiculousness.
You guys, I'm ephemeral.
Just the thing of it is, I think the thing of it is what is so disturbing to me about it is the topic is such a fascinating topic to me, and it's something that I'm really, really. And then here I'm looking at freaking eyeballs floating over the ocean, and it's like I cannot. It's like anyway. My point is that I think
part of the problem is I can't figure out how to turn it off.
You just hit the top under effects. You just hit the close. Boom,
I did.
done. And things are still on?
Yeah.
Oh, remove all effects. Sorry, just
I don't
down.
know where that is.
It's right by randomize. It's right above randomize. Anyway, The thing
In
about this
case
is,
your viewers are ever wondering how to work with the effects on Google Hangouts, we've got the
Lord.
screening for you.
Okay, I really want to say this, and then we can just move on.
Go.
That's okay. The thing I want to say is that this could make things so much more exciting than they are now in terms of, like, it could provide things for our community like we never have before, and it potentially could. We don't know for sure. We're gonna give it a shot. We have a few different ideas, and it could get really, 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 really interesting. It could give an injection of money. It could give an injection of talent. It could get really cool and really interesting. And so just stick around and see what we do.
And the flip side of it is that it might not work, and it could
Yes,
be
it
a
might
big old
not.
giant belly flop, and we get a lot smaller. And
But what do we have to lose at the end of the day? I mean,
there you
like,
go.
really, no one's getting rich off of this at the moment. You know what I mean? We need to give it a shot. And I think the time is
Yes.
right. So anyway, it's so much vagary. Why don't we move on?
Okay.
Sam's turn. He has things to say.
I have things to say.
Unless you would like me to say things first.
Oh, I'll go ahead. So there is actually something that's really kind of useful. My blog is going to be about it this week. It won't be some ridiculous rant. Again, it's actually going to be of some value. And the thing of it is, No Film School has this link, and I'm trying to think. It is this resources. So check Wednesday if you're interested on WeMakeMovies.org. I'm going to have a link to this. And it's basically, if you go to No Film School, and I'm just going to go there right now, they have a roundup of all of the current basically online distribution places. So if you go to nofilmschool.com/20, okay. Direct distribution roundup, who's today's digital tools. So it's basically the digital tools that you as a filmmaker can use, and they have a whole long list of them, and they have a lot of the promo videos, and then there's a little bit of a write-up of each of them. And there's probably a few on there that a lot of people haven't heard of. So I guess the thing I'll do is quickly run through a few of those that I found were interesting. So there's one called Assemble. If you're a filmmaker and you need a website, basically, that to go and market your film, you might want to check out Assemble. If you don't have any friends who know WordPress, because they can basically get something together that's relatively useful for you. That's not one of the big ones, though, that I was more interested in talking about. The ones that I think are most interesting, there's two that I think I've talked about in the past, but there's Distribber, and then there's another one called Quiver. So if you want to get your film on iTunes or Netflix or Hulu, for that matter, you can use Distribber or Quiver. And Quiver's the newer one. It's cheaper than Distribber. I'd be very curious if anyone's actually used it, but pretty much for $1,000 or $1,500, you can get on these platforms now as an independent content creator. So it should just be a part of your distribution budget. And then you keep all of the revenue that comes in from iTunes or from something else. So if you have a bit of a marketing budget behind you, it might make sense to just do that, and then you keep all of the money, as opposed to some outside distributor who is probably just going to do something similar. And there's another couple, which is VHX.TV, PivotShare, and Yekra, who all are basically getting into, and I know, Chad, you can certainly talk about PivotShare, who are all getting into on-demand content and allowing filmmakers to go on demand with their content. And the two that are sort of interesting in this space are VHX.TV and Yekra, which allow you to get into an affiliate model where you can have people involved in your film, or other websites, in terms of, in the case of Yekra, actually go out and sell your film for you, and actually those people can profit from the sale of your film. And so if you want something to go viral, and you have enough people who are involved, you can make it worth your while for them to share it, and then you might have a better chance of sharing it, and you can select how much of those profits you give to some of these other people. For me, VHX TV has the most straightforward business model. I think Yekra is interesting, but they're kind of vague in terms of how the payments work for some of that. And then Pivot Share, which Chad can probably talk a little bit more about, is the one that if you want, it seems like it's the most fully featured of the players. And the only question I have with Pivot Share is it really worth 30% of your money? And I'd be curious. So
I think that what's funny with this entire field is that it's a field that is so sort of like there's just not enough money going into it yet. VHX is talking about how that they've made like their filmmakers $3 million, but I mean like that's nothing in the grand scheme of things right now. It's not enough. It's still sort of an untapped market. And I think one of these, if any of these fields is going, if any of these sites, if any of these specific and this goes for, I mean, this doesn't exactly go for Distributor and Quiver because those obviously are sort of, they're behind the scenes. But the VHX, Yekra, whatever, if any of these guys are going to really break ahead of the rest and start to make this a field that is viable, they're going to have to get interesting, and they're going to have to team up or somehow tap in to some means of curation. That's going to be the thing. That is the problem, is nothing right now is able to get the signal from the indie noise. It's just mess.
Well, I think the real question is whether all of these services get bypassed, and there's just one that provides the back end for the people who are doing the curation to go out and do that.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, that'll probably, no, that's exactly what I mean, is that because at the end of the day, no one's really going to care where it comes from. If there is some sort of device, some sort of app, some sort of website that does what Netflix does for the world of independent content that is out there, if there's some means of that, that will make this a viable field. And I don't know what that, I'm assuming something like that is going to happen soon. Go ahead, Michelle.
Well, I just think that, I mean, it's just such a job. I mean, there's the curation of the entire indie film world. There's so much that is potentially going to bring in so little revenue for the volume that is going to have to be dealt with.
But I don't think.
I mean, the reason.
Why do you say so little though? Because I mean, the thing is if there's stuff out there that we're just not, that's amazing, but nobody knows about it because it's getting lost in noise. How do we know it's going to be so little? That's the thing. I mean, if you look at.
We don't. But exactly. I mean, I think statistically we can guess.
I don't see that. I don't see that because I think that right now, I mean, look at YouTube. Look at the amount of money that YouTube brings in, and the biggest reason is that it's people know what they're getting when they go to YouTube. It's a very specific thing, and it's on, it's very meme. It's very sort of lowest common denominator, and then you look at everything else, and it's so much more expensive. There is room in the middle. There is room in the middle, and the only reason it's not picking up, in my opinion, is because there is no curation, no reliable curation, and it's not a person that's going to do it. It's going to be algorithms. I mean, that's what it takes. It takes right now. You look at sort of the indie.
But do you think the middle room is being taken up by the? Well, and do you think that the room in the middle is being slowly encroached upon by the television world?
It is, yeah, and by YouTube. It's being like on both ends of it. It's kind of creeping in. I
mean, people go to YouTube to see cat videos and like auto-tune the news. I think that it's always going to be that way. I mean, like, yes, they might go there for the random.
But the guys.
Film,
But Freddie W., for instance, started his own series, and so people are watching the series because of Freddie W. That's what I mean. It's not through YouTube, but it's through this sort of stars that are coming up through YouTube.
Well, and if you think about it, Chad, actually, the curation is happening by the individual channels. So people are subscribing to channels. People are watching stuff that people are making. So I don't believe in the algorithm, actually. I think at the end of
It's happening. No, I agree with you. What is happening now is happening that way. But I think the thing that's going to make it crack open will be an algorithm. I really do. Just simply because it's too much work for a human being to do. Any human being.
Well, no, I think you're going to have just smaller markets, and I think like it's going to break down into digital communities, and that for me is the thing, because at the end of the day, how do you what I found with all of these search options and all of this other crap, Yelp, this, that, and the other thing, do you know how I find stuff? I ask people I trust whether they know
Yeah,
anything.
right,
Of course.
right, and that's
Well,
what
that's the best way to find anything.
that's the only thing. But I don't think that if it only took that, then it would already exist. That's that's the thing. You know what I mean? Because when you look at the amount of money that's going through the different things across the spectrum of entertainment, there is a massive gap, and there has been for years. Why is that? Is my question. Do you know what I'm saying? That's my point. And I think that if it were that, is that true, Michelle? I don't know. Sorry, I just I don't know if that's true. Is it? Anyway, maybe it is. That's
Chad,
okay.
not everything that happens in your head has to come out now.
No, that's true. Anyway, no, it is probably time to move on to the next topic. But this is obviously an interesting and a very interesting topic. But
Well, as is mine. Okay, I was actually thinking about some films that I saw at the LA Film Fest, and there was one specific film that was called Uncertain Terms. Are you laughing at me? Stop laughing at me.
I'm not laughing. Who's laughing?
Oh, anyway,
No one's laughing.
It was Nathan Silver was the director, and I stayed afterwards. This was at LA Film Fest, and they had a little talk back afterwards, and like, so great, so you're the writer and the director, and blah blah blah. And he was like, well, I didn't really write it. I mean, like, I had an idea what kind of wanted to happen, and then I just, like, we talked to the actors, and we talked about our relationships, or their relationships, and then we just kind of improvised the film and just saw where it went. I was like, oh, really? So then, like, but here's the thing. This is happening more and more often, like, a lot more often. There's laggies. Like, it's like completely improvised. That comedy, American romantic comedy, it's Lynn Shelton directed it. It's just came out. It's all improvised. So this is starting to be a huge, huge trend in the feature film world. I get it in shorts, I get it in, YouTube shit, but really, how do we feel about an entire feature being improvised? Because here's the thing, at seeing Uncertain Terms, it wasn't bad. I wasn't like, oh, well, this is a piece of crap. Like, it was a decent film. I wasn't like overly blown away by it, but there was a story, and the story was told, and the relationships were there. So my question to you guys as filmmakers, because like as an actor, I'm just kind of like, well, an actor and a filmmaker, but still, I'm kind of like, is that really, like, as a director, is having the whole everything improvised, is that like conducting like an orchestra, or is that just sitting back and like letting people do your work for you?
I'm getting into rant mode here, Michelle. You're on dangerous ground.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Sam and I think, as directors, are on completely opposite ends of the spectrum. I am not a fan for the stuff I like to do of improving. I like to settle on it, rest on it if there's. Sam I've seen do wonderful things with improv. I think a lot of it.
But I will say.
Well, my question to you, Sam, is as a director, is it harder? Does that make?
No. Well, no. I have some very clear. Actually, to clarify, I actually would never, ever, 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 ever go into a movie without a plan. So the way that I work, and it actually is very different. I think it's really stupid to do something like that. I think it is about the laziest, stupidest thing you can do as a filmmaker, is to go in completely unprepared and be like, we're just going to make it up. It's like, well, then why do you get a say in anything? Like, why should we ever watch your fucking bullshit? Like, who the fuck are you, Anyway, I think it's like insulting.
How do you really feel?
No, I mean, I hate this stuff. Like, I hate fucking mumblecore bullshit. Like, oh, I'm just exploring my feelings. Fuck off. Like, it's like, don't waste my time. There's enough. I have enough other options to listen to your, like, we didn't even think about this. Like, it's not. Anyway, like I said, you're getting me into rant mode. What I think can be useful is because the thing is, what Chad doesn't see when I do some of that stuff is almost universally I've done a rehearsal beforehand. So basically what I will sit down and do is I'll take a script, and what I want the actors to do is go through, put a lot of stuff into their own words, take the blueprint that's there and see if there's anything new that we're going to bring to it. And then once I know that you know the script and the beats well enough to move forward, then you can improvise. It's like it's you have to know the rules before you can break them. And I think the worst thing that you can do is go in there with like no map, no plan, and all this, because you're just wasting everyone's time.
Yeah.
But I think the importance to all of this is rehearsal and chemistry between your performers. And if you don't have it, your stuff's going to suck.
Yeah.
And if you don't rehearse and put people in a position to succeed, it's just masturbation, basically.
Yeah. I would even, I mean, in my case, I'm even, I think, more of a writer than I am a director, or at least that's kind of the point that so it's not, and I'm open to improv as a tool, but not as a structure. You know what I mean? Like, I need to know, I'm much more focused on sort of specific subtleties and specific things that you just cannot get from improv, because when you're on set, you have a clock. You know what I mean? And it's hard enough for me with the scripts that I do have to get all the juice out of every moment as it is. And then if we have to I don't even know, I'm going to set without any idea what's happening, it's insane. It's insane to me. I would never, it's not really something. When I do comedies, I will always do it every shot as scripted first, and then after that we'll do at least one take where we're just improving. Only will I do that with comedy, never with drama. But that's pretty much kind of a running thing for me, is I will try as much as possible to throw in some improv, because some of the funniest jokes come right in the moment. But anyway, that's my two
So
cents.
I mean, like, how did one more question? I know we have to move on, but how do your writers feel about that? Are there ever any things that the writers like, we have to keep this? Like, do you have that conversation, or do you like improv and see what you get and then like negotiate at the end? Or do your writers even care?
First.
Well, I mean, I write and I direct and I work with other people's stuff, and my personal opinion on it is writers don't have to say the words. So in a lot of cases, writers have this magical thing that's in their heads that in many cases, that's what they think. And like, even with my own stuff, I use the words on the page. I'm trying to get to the sense of what, and I know Chad's going to disagree with me, and I think that's okay. But like, I try and use the words to understand what is trying to be said, and then you try and put it into words that the person, the living, breathing human being that's performing it, will be able to present in the best possible way. So for me, it's not about what's on the page; it's about what it's about.
I mean, I actually agree with that. I mean, but the only difference I would say is that I try as much as possible. And by the way, just on a side note, I've never had a comedy writer bitch to me about the way that I do things. Every comedy writer I've ever worked with likes, because I respect their words first, and then we also riff, and comedy writers usually open to funnier jokes. They always want the funniest joke possible. I mean, that's been my experience so far. But what I was saying is that probably the one difference between maybe what me and Sam do is that I instead like to, well, like for instance with this piece that we just shot a couple months ago, that one of the actors said to me, I don't see, the writer had him spitting on the ground in an office twice. He's like, and he's like, I don't see how the guy would be that far. And I was like, well, adjust your idea of this guy then, because this guy spits on the ground. You know what I mean? It's like, to me, it's you never want to tell me I don't see my character doing this. You know what I mean? That's just the way I am. I was an actor for a long time, and I consider myself a pretty good actor too. So it's not, you know what I mean? To me, it's all a matter of like, what kind of character would spit on the ground? That's what you need to be looking at, and that's the kind of character you need to, that's kind of my point of view overall.
And I'll disagree with you there, only because I think, most importantly, if you want a performance that is authentic, an actor needs to understand always what they're doing and why they're doing it. And basically, and the thing for me is like, well, the writer is not God. And sometimes there's just shit that's written down in there that doesn't make any fucking sense based on where you're shooting. So I think let's
take that back. So you say the writer is not God. In the world of film, okay, there's God, but then in the world of film, if you're making a film, then who is God? The director?
The editor.
I thought.
The
Well,
editor?
no,
Who
the
is?
editor.
I mean,
Yeah.
who is the final
Honestly,
say?
the
Like,
editor,
here's-
I'm not kidding. I mean, that's
who's
here's
what
the
running the
perfect.
ship?
So here's the perfect world scenario for me. Right? Is the way that my favorite movie of all time is The Graduate, and the way that they did that movie, was I think the way that it should be done, which is they rehearsed, they got everyone in the room, they looked at the script, no one was particularly thrilled with the script, they went in and rehearsed the hell out of it until they got something that they all collectively loved and completely understood each person on there with what they had to do. Then they went around and they built the movie based on that script and presented what they'd come up with in rehearsals in the best possible light. So basically they took advantage of pre-production, they improved the script there, then they brought it into production and they knew what they were going to do and they went in and executed it. And what you have when you get through is a movie that feels like it was fully thought through and developed. And while the writer may have come up with the concept initially and the way that it was, everyone that was involved with that movie brought something to it. So no one was God. They all worked together.
No, and I think we disagree less than you think, because I definitely think that there are things in a script that don't make sense. And I will talk to the writer and I'll be like, hey, I don't think this makes sense. That particular point I thought was an extremely telling moment for this character. I wanted this moment for he needed this. That's the kind of guy this guy is, and it was a perfect way, without a word, that you could like basically express a whole lot about this. So this one bit of behavior I absolutely did not want to. So that's I agree with you. The writer, it's not perfect every time. It's the director can have an effect on the script. That's why whenever a good director does a bad movie, I'm like, well, why didn't he work with the writer? You know what I mean? Like, that's common. It's very common for directors to do that. But what were you about to ask, Michelle?
Well, no, I was gonna put a little ribbon on this whole situation for any of our actors out there listening, because I'm gonna agree with both of you on the whole from an actor standpoint. So my theology as far as being an actor, I wear many hats from time to time, but largely my hat is being an actor. So what my theology on being an actor on set is shut the F up and figure it out. Don't go anywhere. Don't leave your trailer. You wait for someone to come tell you what to do. If they fix your hair crazy, you are a person that has crazy hair. If they tell you to walk over there and it is completely unmotivated, use your $70,000 of Stanislavski education and figure out why you're walking over to turn the damn light off.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Well, and actually, I guess my only addendum would be I always welcome questions from actors. I just don't welcome stupid questions because the when they're like, and this actually happened on a feature film that I worked on, is like we're in the middle of like a busy day and like the fucking actor's like, why would I open this door? And I'm like, just open the fucking door, asshole. Like, we're past that point. This is not open to debate at this point. Figure the shit out. Like, you're opening the door and it's not even on screen.
Yeah.
So just fucking do it.
I was in one network TV show while I was an actor. I was on an episode of Charmed, and it was I hadn't seen it before. But a friend of mine was working on the show, and so when I booked it, I borrowed a friend's VHS tapes, and I was watching. I was like, oh my God, there is some bad acting on this show. And I saw some moments, like there was a moment where I was supposed to peer around a corner and like look at some people, and one of the two episodes that I watched, this guy was doing it, and he was like, ooh, just the worst acting. And it was a recognizable actor. It was an actor I'd seen in things before. And so when I got on set, and what it seemed like to me is people, especially some of the other, guest stars, were just like wanting to chat people up and talk to them and blah, blah. I was like, F that, man. I want to not suck on this. So I was off in my room. I didn't warrant a trailer. I had a room, but whatever. It was fine. And rehearsing. That's what I was off doing. And it's like, I think that, no matter what you get, you got to do good at it. You got to think of your career overall. You got to think of like, okay, people are going to see this. So if I got to be, so I agree with, basically I was saying that in essence, I'm agreeing with you guys. We should probably move on. I'm like dragging this
it's like an episode of what's that, the Sorkin show.
A swing.
Newsroom.
The newsroom.
I haven't seen
White people agreeing with white people.
it. Who you calling white?
Huh?
Who you calling white? I know I
This
look
is
it, but
everyone
come
on the newsroom. All right.
All right.
Things
Anyway,
to know, Chad Kukahika.
so we are nearing the end of the show now, guys. Thank you very much for watching, or Guy, but you're watching it live. But whatever. If you're watching this later on, unfortunately, we'll not be able to comment on it. But now we're getting into the things to know. So I will actually start off our thing to know. My thing to know this week is The Drop. I watched it a couple nights ago. Such an amazing film. Excellent writing, stellar acting, fantastic directing, just amazing. It will keep you on the edge of your seat. The moves are small and subtle, but it's really, really, really entertaining. And you just go see it. The Drop, Chris Hardy, Ruma Murberber, James Gandolfini. I don't know her name. Anyways, it's something foreign. And all of them, fantastic film. Go see it. And Sam, your thing to know.
Oh, did I have? I don't know anything. I have nothing.
You have nothing.
We're over. We're running late.
Oh my goodness. Well, I have a little thing to know. Hold on. Let me get some dates here. I am going to be playing. I have a new role. I'm going to be playing the role of Jenny Hill in Big Fish at Musical Theater West.
Cool.
So if you want to come out, it runs October 31st through November 16th, and I start the show at 16 and I finish at 60. So if you're familiar, to say it's the Big Fish, the movie, so it's the Helena Bonham Carter role, but expanded times 48 years. So it'll be fun. Should be interesting.
Awesome. Congrats.
Sweet.
So guys, thank you very much. That was this week's We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast. My name is Chad Kukahiko. You can check out my stuff at superfrico.com. Michelle Lookadoo, you can check her out on Twitter at mlookadoo. And Sam Messman, you can read all about him on wemakemovies.org. So thanks for watching. We will see you next time.